Okay, so let's cut to the chase and show you exactly how Listing Grabber works. The first thing is NAR did a study and they found that 80% of sellers using an agent chose an agent that they never used before. They also found out that 2/3 of those homeowners chose the first agent that they interviewed. So what does this mean to you? It means that as you look in your MLS and look at the homes that are up for sale, 80% of those were at one time up for grabs and 2/3 of them up for grabs to the first person who got there. So our goal is to help you get there first. And the way that we do it is we take what we call a magic map, basically the territories that you want to target. And by using some great marketing and some great technology, we're able to identify those people who are thinking about selling before they come on the market, so you can reach out and start working with them first. Okay? Let me show you how it works. There are two types of marketing that we use. The first type is traditional farming, which is focused on promoting you so that over time you can dominate the community because homeowners recognize you, know you, and trust you. In fact, most of the top agents across the country get there through farming. And with us, it's completely automatic. The second type of marketing is direct response marketing, which is focused on promoting free information that sellers want to know so they respond, hence the name direct response, and then we can identify them. This is how we identify sellers before they come on the market. So let's talk about direct response marketing for a moment. There's a concept known as the educational spectrum, and what this says is when someone starts to think about selling, they start to ask certain questions, such as how much is my home worth? How long will it take to sell? How much will I keep? Where do I move? And so as they ask those questions, then they start to research them, and they go online and they talk to friends and family, they drive through neighborhoods and looking at homes for sale. But there's one thing that they don't do, and can you guess what that one thing is? Yeah, you're right. They don't contact an agent until they're ready to sell. And this is why a lot of times you may get a phone call at the office, hey John, I'm thinking about selling my house, can you come over and talk to me? It's like drop everything, get there quickly, because if you don't, someone else may beat you to it. So here's a question I have for you. When that homeowner calls you and asks you to help them sell their home, did they just think about selling yesterday and they call you today? Or do you think they've been planning on it for months? They've been discussing it with their family. They've been fixing up their house. They've been doing research. Yeah, they've known about it for months. They just wait till the last moment to call you. So what we do is we realize if they're going to call you, we've got to get there first. And so what we do is saturation marketing to the entire area, looking for those people in what we call the magic map zone. Those people who are thinking about selling, that they'll respond to what we call a direct response marketing piece. And then when they respond, we know who they are. You start following up with them. When they're ready to sell, guess who they call? You. So that's a concept. Let me put some skin on this and show you how it works. The best way to describe how we do what we do is I want to contrast it with what most other agents do. Now this is an actual postcard from a very top producing real estate agent. So I'm not criticizing his production, but his marketing leaves a lot to be desired. This is obviously a just sold postcard, and here's how it reads. Thank you for helping Mike sell more homes than any other real estate agent. Happy clients are the key to his success. Please feel free to call him for honest answers to your real estate questions. Okay, so now I got a question for you. If this postcard went to a homeowner who's thinking about selling in the next 2 or 3 months, is that homeowner more likely to pick up the phone and call Mike, or do you think they'll throw the postcard away? Yeah, most of them throw it away, right? So that means this thing didn't work very well. So let me show you what we do that's different. So this is our version of a just sold postcard, and as you'll see, it's done a little bit different. The first thing you see is the headline. How much is your home worth in today's market? And about the only person interested in that headline is someone thinking about selling. And then our copy is a little bit different too. Here's how it reads. I just sold another home in your neighborhood. If you're planning to sell your home in the next 12 months, what you do right now could help you pocket up to an extra $15,000 or more when it sells. Your first step is to find out exactly how much your home is worth right now, plus get a free report on simple fix-ups to make it sell faster and for more money. Visit my website now. Okay? So now let me ask you that very same question again. If this postcard went to that same homeowner who's planning to sell in the next 2 or 3 months, in your estimation, is that homeowner going to throw away the postcard, or do you think they'll go to that website first? Yeah, they'll go to the website, won't they? For several reasons. Number one, the copy is compelling. It creates interest. It offers something of value. It creates curiosity, and it's easy to respond. And number two, and don't underestimate the importance of this, they don't have to call a sales rep. Think about it. The reason people wait until the last moment when they're ready to sell is they don't want a sales rep pushing them. Here, they don't have to call a sales rep. All they have to do is go to the website and get it for free. Okay? So that's great. Now, that's the great marketing of what we do. Let me show you the great technology. The great technology is our system's been programmed to identify when someone goes to that website, we're able to identify exactly which house is responding. So as soon as they go there, we now know exactly who they are. And we let you know, and now you know who's thinking about selling, because the only person responding to this card is most likely someone thinking about selling. Does that make sense? So that's the first part of what we do. Using direct response marketing to identify future sellers, getting people who are thinking about selling in the future to visit the website so we know who they are and you can start to following up. The second thing we do is automatic farming, so that over time you can build market dominance with now sellers, those people who call you to sell right now. And here's how that part works. The first part is it starts with a large crisp photo of you, so people constantly are seeing your name and your face. Then up in the top part of this postcard, we do what we call micro marketing. In this case, it says you're Countrywood Highlands real estate expert. And what that is doing is when we target different areas, we're able to target them very specifically. So in this case, this postcard may be going to a subdivision called Countrywood Highlands. So it's going to be listed as your Countrywood Highlands real estate expert. If we're also targeting an area called Ridgeland Estates for you, those postcards are going to be listed as your Ridgeland Estates real estate expert. And so in that way, people want to do business with a local expert, and we brand you as such. The other part that we do is we give you a spot to write some bullet points on how good you are in selling. Okay? In farming and in convincing people to do business with you, they have to know not only that you're there, but why they should choose you. And this gives you a way to articulate the value you bring to a seller so they choose you. This is an actual example of one of our customers. His bullet points read, "My homes sell a full month faster than the average home. My sellers get $8,872 more than the average seller. I guarantee to sell your home or I pay you." See how powerful those are? In just a couple quick bullet points, able to articulate in clear, precise terms the value he brings. So when people keep seeing this over and over again every time we mail, guess what? They start to believe it and they start to contact you. So now the second type of card that we do, now that was our Just Sold postcard. This is our primary card that we do. We call it a target card. And it's a target card because we send them automatically every 6 weeks into your target communities looking for people thinking about selling. The front of the card is always focused on identifying future sellers with direct response marketing. Now we have different styles and copy, but they always focus on the same thing: getting prospects to visit the website so we can identify them. The back of the card, the farming side, constantly brands you so people get familiar with you, trust you, and think, if I ever sell my home, I'm going to call this guy. And while traditional farming usually takes over a year before you get listings, because of how we do it, many of our customers start getting now sellers, those who call and ask them to sell their home right now, in as little as 4 or 5 months. It's very powerful, and the best part is you get both at the same time. So then that brings up the question, how effective is Listing Grabber? Well, let me walk you through just a couple of stories and show you. Up at the top is Stuart, and after his first mailing, he had 4 appointments and signed up 2 listings. And he later commented and he said, I was going to be thrilled with Listing Grabber if he got 5 listings in the first year. Well, he got 6 listings within his first 5 months. Then we have Dixie, and Dixie had just moved to Florida. She was getting her real estate career started back up again. Targeting just over 500 homes, got 7 leads on the first mailing. Within 4 weeks, she listed 2 of those prospects already. Then over in California, another couple, by the end of their second mailing, to put this in time frame for you, this is probably 7 or 8 weeks at this point. By the end of their second mailing, they'd already listed 3 homes and had about 6 more listings coming on the market in the next 3 to 6 months. That's the value of identifying future sellers before they come on the market. Another managing broker up in Connecticut, 4 solid listing appointments in the first 2 months. Over in Georgia, a team targeting 2,400 homes. Within 4 days of their first mailing, they had 1 listing, 7 additional listing appointments, 18 more prospects. Within about 4 weeks of that time, they'd already listed 4 homes. Okay, very powerful. And down at the bottom, this is the thing I really want to focus on, is another agent over in Texas. On his first mailing, they picked up 13 prospects, but look at this. 6 of them are identified sellers going on the market right now. That is fantastic. That's what this process is doing for our customers. But that's not the only thing that we do. The next thing that we do, in addition to helping you find prospects, is to help you convert them as well. Because not everyone's going to go on the market right now, but they will at some point in the future. So what we do is we provide a proven follow-through process to help you do it. We figure that probably half of all the prospects responding are actually going to go on the market. Okay, the other ones are just curious. They're interested about what this postcard is, so they respond. And so the goal is to work with those people who are thinking about selling and make sure that you get the deal instead of someone else. Part of those people are going to go on the market pretty soon, but the larger majority will probably take 6 or 12 or 18 months before they go on the market. So it's important that you have a good follow-through process to not only stay in touch, but stay in touch with best practices in marketing to keep them persuaded that you're the best one to work with, and that's what we do. I'll show you that in just a moment. So that brings me down to what I'm going to call ground level. I want to walk you through step by step everything we do and exactly how it works. So the first thing that we do is what we call our magic map farming. And this is basically postcard farming on steroids. And it's where we send out our target postcards 9 times a year, basically every 6 weeks. And we do that automatically. And then we send out just sold and just listed whenever you want us to. The postcards do 2 things. They identify future sellers, and then they build your market dominance over time through consistent farming. So what happens is when a prospect gets the postcard and they're interested in the material, the content that we're offering, then they visit your website. Now this website is branded to you, okay? And as soon as they get there, our pinpoint technology identifies exactly who they are, and we notify you so you can begin following up with them. And then over time, you'll start getting now sellers, additional prospects who may never have visited your website, but they call and ask you to sell their home. And when this happens, you're starting to build market dominance. Now let me share what I mean on this. One of our customers, a guy named Stefan, had been getting future sellers on every mailing that we send out, and that's pretty normal. And then, starting around his 3rd mailing, every time we mailed, he got phone calls directly from homeowners asking him to sell their home right now. And what's interesting is they didn't visit his website. They called and said, I keep getting your postcards and reading how many homes you sell and how fast you sell them, so I want you to sell my home. And when we spoke with him, he'd picked up listings like this in each of his 3rd, 4th, and 5th mailings in addition to the others. Isn't that great? So the moral of the story is you'll find sellers through direct response marketing, but you'll get even more when you combine it with traditional farming. And with Listing Grabber, we do both. Now what happens at this next stage is once they visit your website, then our second product kicks in, which is what we call Follow Me Ads. So what we do is we put a cookie on their computer and we start to track them everywhere they go on the internet to all the websites, whether it's Trulia or Yahoo or Weather or CNN or Fox News or whatever. And we start to post your ad on the websites while they're there, up to 3 to 4 times a day, up to 90 to 120 times a month, making sure that it's impossible for those prospects who've indicated an interest in selling to forget you or lose sight of you. And then our third product is what we call the Autopilot Follow-Up System. And this is actually the second most important thing that we do because the fortune is in the follow-through. And so let me show you how this works. The Autopilot Follow-Up System is divided into 2 parts. The first part is the content, and this is a series of Word documents that we send you that you customize to yourself. The second part is our email reminders, and these email reminders will remind you every time a prospect has a follow-up to be done. So let me show you how that works. Let's take a prospect named John. John is one of the homeowners. He gets your postcard and he visits. So that's day number 1, and you get an email. Hey, John has just visited your website. It's time to do follow-up number 1. So you grab follow-up number 1. It's a pre-written introductory letter. It's a pre-listing packet, and it's a gift, like a box of cookies. And you literally go deliver it to his door. Now, if you're a strong agent, we recommend you knock on the door and actually hand it to him. And if you're a little bit more timid, not a problem. Or if you are busy and you just have an assistant, just have them drop it off on the front doorstep and leave. Okay? Now, I want to pause for a moment and talk about this just a moment because this is a critical step. We borrowed this initial follow-up process from a guy named Stuart over in Texas, and Stuart is a top producing agent, does over 110 transactions a year personally, and what's interesting is over 99% of his listing appointments do business with him. Okay, and here's what we started to hear from Stuart, that his average listing appointment was 30 to 45 minutes. He would literally, when he shows up, that homeowner had already decided that they're doing business with him. Okay, so he's just walking through the house, answering questions and filling out the forms and leaving. Now we think, hey, that's pretty cool. But then we hear the same story from another couple over in California, a guy named Nelson. And Nelson was sharing that before Listing Grabber, his average listing appointment was 90 minutes. He was sitting there trying to explain to those homeowners why they should do business with him, and sometimes he got the deal and sometimes he didn't. And then he started with Listing Grabber and started using this process of following up with a box of cookies in this very specific pre-listing packet that we put together. And he said that immediately his listing appointments dropped to about 30 minutes each. And whenever he got there, the homeowners had already decided they were using him. And so in other words, he shows up at the house, walks to the house, and looks at it, they fill out the form, and he leaves. They already bought him. And then we hear the story again. Another gentleman up in Washington named Ed was sharing the same story. He had just signed up with Listing Grabber before his first mailing even went out. He gets a call from his referral network to come and compete on listing a $700,000 home. So he decides to use the same process. He gets that box of cookies, he gets the pre-listing packet, he delivers it ahead of time, and then he shows up for the appointment a couple of days later. Guess what? As soon as he gets to the appointment, they'd already decided they're using Ed. What's going on is this. When you do marketing right, people will decide in your favor before they even meet you. Okay? And that's what our pre-listing packet and this box of cookie and this introductory letter is all about. So that's day one. And then a couple of days later, you get another email. It's time to do follow-up number 2. Follow-up number 2 in this case is a phone call. So let's say that you dropped off that pre-listing packet and a box of cookies on the doorstep. So the phone call might go like this. Hey John, this is Ryland Smith with such and such realty, and just want to let you know I dropped off a small gift on your front doorstep. I'm just marketing the area right now, and I want to make sure you got it because if you're like me, you probably go to the back door all the time instead of your front door. And by the way, if you guys are ever thinking about selling, I'm the guy who, and then you give what we call a unique selling proposition or a benefit statement, such as I'm the guy who guarantees to sell your home or I pay you. And I'd love for you guys to give me a call. I'd love to show you why my homes sell faster and for more money. All my information is on the gift, so please give me a call. Have a great day. See ya. And so it's just a nice friendly touch, and then a few days later you get another email. It's time to do follow-up number 3. This is going to be another letter. It's going to be, you're going to print out the last 6 months sales in that person's area and drop it in the mail. Then about a week later, you can get another email. It's time to send out another letter. About a month later, another email comes. It's time to send out a letter and a pre-written report. So basically what's going on is you are now sending that homeowner information of value every time you communicate with them. You're being very professional with them. You're being very personal. And so if we go back to NAR's study, 80% of homeowners choose an agent they've never used before, which means they are seeking out a total stranger. However, over on our side, we already know who these people are. You're already involved in following up with them, being value-driven, professional, being very personal, giving them a gift, a simple phone call, and most importantly, you're not being pushy. So they respect you. They now know you, they like you, they trust you. Guess what happens when it comes time to seek out a stranger? They don't. They already know who to do business with, and that's you. And that is the Autopilot follow-up system. Now our fourth product is what we call Text Grabber. And Text Grabber replaces the flyers that you may put on a listing and instead use a sign writer. And this allows people that are visiting your home, driving by, to stop and text for more information. Okay? So when they text and get more information, we instantly send them back your website link where you have the home listed online so they can view the pictures and everything else while they're in front of your house. But most importantly, we text you their cell number immediately so you can call them while they're still in front of your house. And this does two things. It not only helps you sell your house faster, but also allows you to pick up an additional buyer and or seller who's not already under contract with another agent. I was speaking with one of our 7-year agents recently, and she was mentioning that just the first 4 months of using this concept, the additional prospects that she picked up from this concept from her existing listings accounted for 13% of her commissions in those first 4 months. It's really, really powerful. And then the final products we do is what we call FSBO Grabber and Expired Grabber. These are more what we call self-service. In other words, we give you the tools, but you implement them yourselves. And they're direct response marketing pieces to go to FSBOs to get them wanting you to sell their home and list it for them, or to go to Expireds, getting people to identify themselves and having you list their home again. So that's what Listing Grabber is all about. So what is your next step? Well, I think there's three things. Number one, you need to schedule a demo with one of our associates and learn the intricacies of what we do and how this can work specifically for you. Number two, before you get to the demo, go on and decide where you want to target. And it doesn't have to be one big spot, okay? We can target multiple areas at one time because of our micro-marketing. So the key with targeting the right areas is very simply, you want to target areas with good turnover rate, okay? Where a lot of homes are selling ongoing. And the reason is simple. If no one's selling their homes, we can't find any sellers for you. The more sellers there are, the more we can find, okay? So look for turnover rate. And then the third thing is determine your budget, okay? I wish I could share what our pricing is on this video, but it's really completely customized to each individual agent based on what they want with our system and areas that they're targeting. So determine your budget, and then when you come to the demo, we can just show you what's going on and show you what your budget can do with it, okay? Hope you've enjoyed this, and don't forget, look for other links on this site to find some other videos if you want more information about what we do and how we compare with others, and most importantly, why Listing Grabber consistently gets best results of any type of marketing program that you have out there. Have a great day.